Public hearing action items. Number 1, we'll hold a public hearing and discuss and consider approval of an ordinance to rezone 53.94 acres from light industrial district to a mixed-use planned development district with multifamily, townhome, office, and retail uses. The property is located east of North FM 548, south of Don T. Cates Drive, and is identified by the Kaufman County Appraisal District as property IDs 7769 and 7770. Mr. Morgan, you're up to present this item.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. For this first public hearing item, it probably looks familiar, this project does, because we had a version of it come before you in July. In July, this project came forward with additional multifamily and less townhomes, and that request was denied by the Planning and Zoning Commission as well as City Council. It was denied without prejudice. So what that meant was that it could be amended and then taken back to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And so the applicant did take it back to the Planning and Zoning Commission. He did remove 100 multifamily units and added 74 townhome units from what was being proposed in front of council at the time. The requested zoning does intend to replace the existing light industrial zoning. The property is located on the east side of 548, North FM 548. It's located just north of the AMC movie theater. It's south of the Steve Silver warehouse. So it does cover that space between those two properties of 53.94 acres. Again, they are asking for a plan development. It would incorporate a base zoning district of mixed use. The plan development proposes 420 units of multifamily and 114 townhome units. In addition, office and retail areas are located adjacent to North FM 548. The approved uses are generally consistent with the zoning ordinance approved uses for those districts. And the concept plan does show several non-residential sections. There are 4 office and retail sections. Section 1 is to the north. It's 2.7 acres. Section 2 is central, and that's also office, 8.7 acres. Then 2 retail acreages. One is 4.3 acres, and then the other is 4.4 acres. The development standards do propose phasing of the development. Phase 1 would allow for the start of 130 townhomes to begin construction. 40,000 square feet of retail office must be constructed and receive a certificate of occupancy to allow the multifamily units to begin construction. So the applicant, again, is proposing to begin with the townhomes. They would then have to construct 40,000 square feet of non-residential before they could start on the multifamily units. At that time, the 420 multifamily units could be constructed. The development does include the eastern extension of Ridgecrest Road. So right now, Ridgecrest dead ends there on North FM 548. It would cross over to the east side of 548 and then continue east. That would also require a traffic impact analysis. One has not been done at this time. And so before any development could occur, it would be required. A traffic impact analysis was a major concern of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The Planning and Zoning Commission did consider the request earlier this month on September 3rd, and they did vote 5-1 to recommend denial of the request. They did cite the lack of a traffic impact study as the main reason for denial. Ultimate approval of any zoning request which was recommended for denial by the Planning and Zoning Commission will require a 3/4 majority vote of the full City Council. I'll take any questions you have. I also do want to let you know, Mayor, that the applicant is here and would like to address the council this evening.
Okay, well, first, before we open up for public comments, so we've got, are there any technical questions for clarification for Mr. Morgan before we open it up for a public hearing and then council comments?
I have one.
Okay, Mr. Carson.
Mr. Morgan, we don't have a development agreement, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other technical questions? Okay, if there are no technical questions, I will open it up for public hearing. Do we have any comments from the public? Okay, this is the time, if you said the applicant would like to speak, this would be your time. Could you state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. Well, no, I guess, I don't know, do you have more than 3 minutes, Jim? Okay.
All right, is it right to take this off as I speak?
You're 6 feet.
Thank you, Council. John Kendall with Bowler Engineering, 6017 Main Street, Frisco, Texas. I am representing the applicant today. Probably well familiar with this project as we've come in front of Planning and Zoning twice, and this is our second time in front of City Council. Just to give a little more color on kind of the backstory of this project, when we first went before the Planning and Zoning, we requested 720 units of multifamily and had 0 townhomes in our development. From that, we have gone down 300 units in our multifamily request, and I think this commission here has expressed a big need for townhomes in the community, and went and looked at some of the developments that were mentioned in Richardson, and we have included, right now our plan shows 114, but the possibility of up to 130, depending on our configuration. We're working with 2 townhome developers right now to see specifically how they may lay that out with regards to their open space. Some of the concerns that were mentioned, specifically in planning and zoning, we only had one kind of talking point, and that was traffic analysis. And we take full accountability. I guess that was a request that they said we really didn't have any dialogue because there was no traffic impact study. They recommended for denial, and we respected that. The miscommunication was on our end. There are quite a few cities, because we're in the middle of a pandemic, aren't accepting traffic impact studies because the numbers are skewed and would favor the developer. But we are aware, and I know the city is aware, that before we could go vertical on anything, a traffic analysis would have to be done. We did internally reach out to, that was before P&Z, we did reach out to a traffic engineer and internally looked at the site. We had one of our engineers go count 18-wheelers out of the Silver property. It ranges right around 150 to 165 18-wheelers come out of that development every day. And what the first thing that he told us, he goes, the huge traffic that's caused on Ridgecrest and 548 is because that entrance from Silver property, it doesn't come in at the intersection. And so we have offered to provide an easement as we develop Ridgecrest so that they can actually come in into our development and then go into the light. That action alone would drastically improve traffic and mobility through that area. We're excited about this project. We feel we've had great relationships with the city staff, with Peter, Tony. I know as I spoke with a city manager, initially our goal was to commit to 10, maybe 20,000 of office retail before we went vertical on the residential or multifamily. He told us that we need to do at least 40,000, and he didn't come off that number, and we have gone all the way and met that, committing to develop, even during a pandemic, and where a lot of things are closing down, to still commit to that of building 40,000 of office and retail. And we're excited about it. We're in talks with a lot of people, and we want to bring that to Forney. A few last comments is, we feel this would drastically decrease traffic if we could build that road. I think we initially talked to the city and EDC about contributing. It was about $1.5 million, and currently we don't have an agreement with them that would actually all come from our development. It's about $7.5 million of infrastructure just for those roads and utilities that we would provide. In addition to that, a reason why we hope that we're favorable in front of you today is we understand we need a supermajority. And we're up against the clock with regards to our extensions. We were wondering if we could get extension from the seller. He said no, because there's 3 people in the wings to purchase this property. We're asking for a rezone to match the comprehensive plan of 2016 that says, multifamily and townhomes on this property. It's zoned light industrial, and the 3 people in the wings are all light industrial buyers that want to put tilt wall industrial up. If there is a concern about traffic, on 54 acres, I would expect, I can comfortably say, you'd have another 150 to 300 18-wheelers coming in and out off of Ridgecrest and onto 548. We feel this is a residential area, and we feel that the residents would want more of this retail office job center and have a mixed-use development. And unfortunately, if we don't, this will just be an addition. And I have nothing against industrial. Our firm does a lot of industrial. But this is kind of the last chance to have a lot of office and retail in this area. I think there's something to be said, as I do a fair amount of these. This is 4 times that it's come from the city, and not one person has come forward with emails, and I can be corrected, emails or in person, opposing this development. I think that says a lot for this, of people not being opposed to this. With that said, one last item, and I talked to the city attorney, and this is more of a legal item. If we're fortunate enough to receive favorable zoning, is that you would not approve this till November 7th. The reason for that is a closing, and it's a change of title, and so they have ag exemption, and so after the title changes, then our applicant would be the one paying those taxes, and so that's the only reason saying if you make a motion to approve this, that you would say it would go into effect on November 7th. With that, I would love to answer questions and hope that we can have good dialogue. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on this? Well, the first thing, okay, we need to close the public hearing and go into council comments. And the first thing that I want to say is, Mr. Kendall, they have a reason why they have a traffic impact study that was not done. And you said you sent your own people over there. I happen to know somebody at Steve Silver that works with the trucks. And the information that you have and what he gave me is not even close. He said there's about 50 trucks a day that come out of there, not 150. So I just wanted to clarify that for whoever did your study. That's why we have traffic impact studies with people that do this, so that we have the correct information that comes in front of us. So I just wanted to let you know that. Does anyone else from the council, now is the time if you'd like to share anything?
I just have a question. Maybe, I don't know who can answer it, but I know that you spoke about, since about the pandemic, that a lot of cities are not able or to get the traffic analysis, impact analysis study. Do we know of any cities that are close to us that haven't been able to do that, Peter? Do we have any numbers there or any feedback on that?
I don't have any knowledge of adjacent cities and what they're doing right now, no.
But y'all are prepared to do one or not to do one?
No, almost definitely. It's in city ordinance that requires that one is done before development happens. Mm-hmm. And so the plan is not only we want to do one, legally we have to do one. Okay. So we would meet all those requirements. And it's more favorable to you as we do it closer to a development. Mm-hmm. And thank you, Mayor, and I apologize if our numbers were off. And so thank you for that correction.
Well, I know that Kevin and I are the ones that are not big on the apartments, and I can't speak for Kevin, but I can speak for me. We have a lot of apartments in Forney, and there's something to me that needs to be more appealing to be coming with more apartments over there. I just don't get the warm fuzzies over this development, but that's just me. Are there any other comments that anybody would like to share on this? Okay, well, thank you for speaking, and if there aren't any other comments, do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion we deny public hearing item number 1 with prejudice.
I have a motion by Mr. Traylor to deny with prejudice. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
I have a second by Mr. Myers. Motion passes unanimously to deny with prejudice. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to revote. I thought it said all green.
To clarify, council, a motion to deny would be a green button.
Did we all push the green button?
See, that's
Kevin did it.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, so we revote again.
Again, the motion on the floor that has been tabled, or not, excuse me, that has been seconded is a motion to deny the zoning request. And so if you vote in the affirmative, you agree with the motion. If you vote in the negative, it's because you are against the motion as it stands on the table.
That's what I thought.
You gotta vote now.
So that's what I thought. So I'm gonna stick with my original vote.
Okay, so we have a 6-1 vote that Robbie votes nay, and the motion passes to deny a request for zoning with prejudice. Okay, we will move